Welcome back to my channel, where I help you to understand how to use human design in your life to free yourself from conditioning that limits your perceptions and options, and to identify and activate your superpowers. Please make sure to subscribe so you're notified when new videos come out each week. Let me know your questions and ahas in the comment section, and I'll make sure to respond. Also, let me know what topics you'd like me to cover, and I'll do that. This video focuses on the Sacral Authority, which is how all generators, pure generators, and manifesting generators are designed to make decisions. This is definitely a superpower and well worth your time and energy to learn how to use it. The video combines two sessions in which I worked with participants in one of my programs to assist them in getting in touch with their Sacral Authority. In the first section, I describe what Sacral Authority is and how it works. Then we dive into 4 case studies. This video is for you if you're a generator or manifesting generator in human design, or you love one and you want to know how to use your Sacral Authority. All generators have Sacral Authority, even if they're emotionally defined. And it says on your chart that the emotional solar plexus is your authority. I'll explain more about this in the video. All right, let's get started. Okay, hi everyone. This is Maggie Ostara, and we have a sacral session for generators and manifesting generators and those who love them today to help understand awakening and listening to the sacral response. The sacral, which is basically the hara or the womb space down in the belly of the gut, is the interface for generators with our higher self. Or with, if you think of guides or spirit, however you want to think of it, it is the non-rational, non-linear spiritual guidance that you have access to through your sacral. And so most of us have been trained to make decisions with our minds, and we've been told to be very analytical about it and to be logical about it, to make lists of pros and cons and to analyze all the data and then make a decision. And so that's the way most of us have been trained. But one of the things we say in human design is never make decisions with your mind. And the reason for that is that your head and your ajna do not have any power. All the power is lower down in the body. All the motors are lower down in the body. And so we want to be able to connect with what our own authority is. And if you are a generator or manifesting generator, your authority is your sacral. Now, if you're emotionally defined, you do need to wait over time and ask your sacral multiple times while you're going through your emotional wave to make sure that you're getting a consistent yes. And so that is the one caveat. If you are emotionally defined, everybody, regardless of type, needs to take time and ask multiple times. If you get an inconsistent response or if you get a no, then it's always a no. That's what you're looking for when you're going through your emotional wave and asking multiple times. But the authority that you're asking, if you're a generator or manifesting generator, is still your sacral. I know sometimes people get confused like that, so I want to make sure to clarify that. For manifesting generators, sometimes, particularly if they have the 3420, which is the channel that would directly connect the sacral to the throat. It's the only channel that goes directly from the sacral to the throat. It's extremely fast. And for some manifesting generators, even going or is too slow. And they may have their own particular sound. So they may go, yep, yeah. Yep, that's just something that every manifesting generator is going to want to explore with and to see what their right sound is. The point is that we want to get down in the body to be getting our responses and not to be up in our head. So today's practice session is going to be working with several people in order to be able to feel the difference between being down in your body and being up in your head, because it really is a somatic experience. It's about being able to be in the body, sending your consciousness down into your body. When you're really connected with it, it's whether you're a manifesting generator or a generator, it's quite fast. It takes no time at all. It's just going to come. And so if you find yourself pondering, chances are either you're in your head, or it's either not the right time or you don't have enough information. So that happens sometimes. You'll ask a question and you won't get a response. You'll be like, And that's usually you need more information or it's not the right time. So then you want to ask later, or you may want to investigate and get some more information. Let's just start by taking a couple of breaths together. Go ahead and place your hands on your belly. So we're talking like below right about where your navel is, or right below that. Okay. And let's just take a couple of big breaths. And you can even close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, sending your awareness down into your belly. And just asking inside to your inner being. I use the term inner being. You can use higher self, spirit self, soul. There's a lot of different terms. To me, they mean slightly different things, but you just pick whatever works for you. Asking that part of you to help you to connect with the wisdom and the guidance that's available to you. Okay. And, using the breath also helps you get out of your head and that kind of looping thinking that we can have. Start out just by asking you, have you been practicing with using your sacral before? Is this something new to you, or is it something you've practiced?
It's something that I'm very aware of. It's something that I have practiced. It's something that I'm not in the practice of practicing every single time.
Uh-huh.
And when I don't, I feel the misalignment and the frustration.
Interesting.
So just being reminded that is always available.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely spend a lot of time up here. I know how to get down here. So it's just a reminder that that's the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
piece is the starting point.
Okay. And I do want to say it is fine to do research and it's fine to analyze things. It's not like we want to throw that out, right? What we can do with our left brains and our logic is important, right? And is part of the equation when we're making decisions. What is something, a topic that you would like to work with today?
Perfect. So what's been coming up for me is that I've been in my business now a year and a half. Probably the first almost half of that has been getting things up and running, et cetera. So
Okay.
I feel like I keep toggling between these different ideas and not setting on something of who it is that I want to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's causing some confusion for myself and switching around. So I would like to have a better understanding of my human design, of how to really dig into that and drop into that,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can use that to my advantage instead of trying to figure it out.
Okay. Totally. I hear you. So the main thing is thinking about who your people are, who you want to serve. That's the main thing. So what are your options? And I'm just going to start my timer here for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So what are your options that you're
So
considering?
my options are mirror versions of myself.
Okay.
Somebody in the corporate, because I was in the corporate world for a long time. Somebody that's in the corporate world that is in very masculine, doing, proving, achieving.
Okay.
Matching the masculine energy of the corporate environment.
Okay.
And doing that at some sort of detriment to themselves, either burnout, fatigue, poor relationships outside of work, things of that nature. There's a trade-off, and they're not quite sure. They're just having symptoms of it right now.
Okay.
But somebody that's starting to ask questions like, is this it? Is this what this is about? Because I can't keep this pace up much longer.
Okay. Got it.
So
that's one. Okay.
That's one. The other would be any woman that could be an entrepreneur or a corporate person that is they're starting to become awake, but they're still doing everything from their masculine energy.
Okay.
in creating whatever it is in the world that they've come to create. And in both scenarios, they're neglecting their feminine gifts,
Okay.
intuition, collaboration. They're doing everything themselves, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then there in both, there's also, is there an age group?
Okay.
Is there an age group? I'm 53, and I was in the corporate world in that realm, and I've had some experiences where I've been with the 20-year-old group. That doesn't seem to be resonating. I think it's like, oh, that's cool, but they're not ready to jump in all the way.
Okay. Okay.
So
All
those are
right.
some of the ideas that
All
I
right.
keep back and forth with.
Okay, great. So I'm going to start out by asking you some yes, no questions to kind of get us warmed up. Okay. Do you know are you comfortable with
I'm a yes, no.
You're a yes, no? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And do you find that that's because it is too fast for you to say
I don't know if it's because of that. When I started tuning more into my intuition, I had a feeling of, and it changes, of checking in, of identifying where's my energy of a yes, is it in my left hand or my right hand? And then envisioning a ball of energy when I ask questions, is this a yes or a no? And feeling the yes or the no.
Okay, so that's a different technique. That's not what we're doing.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So I
So
think that's why the yes or the no comes in.
okay. Well, what I'd like to recommend is that you try the
Okay.
and let's see how it goes. You do have the 3420, don't you? I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah. But I would like you to try it because the sacral is nonverbal in that way, right? The
Okay.
sacral is nonverbal. And so it's very kind of primal that way. It's like, And for some people who it's because of the speed that it comes out in a different sound. Okay. But that's the reason, is because of the speed. Otherwise, if we use language, we're actually using a different part of our brain.
Mm,
Okay. Does that make sense?
yes.
Yeah. Because part of the brain is verbal, part of the brain is not verbal.
Perfect.
Okay. So we want to try to get into that part that is not as verbal, if possible. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to ask you some questions which, may feel more or less, may not feel completely relevant to what we're talking about right now. We're going to get started. Okay. All right. So are you in a white room right now?
No. Oh.
Okay. Are you wearing a yellow shirt?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And do you like where you live?
Uh-huh.
And do you like chocolate?
Uh-huh.
And are you planning on moving anytime soon?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Are you looking forward to the holidays?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Are there some challenges for you around the holidays?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Are you willing to be kind to yourself during the holidays?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Willing to give yourself the space that you need to be able to make this time work for you in whatever
Uh-huh.
way that is?
Uh-huh.
And are you able to create appropriate boundaries when you need to during the
Uh-huh.
holidays? Okay, good. And be able to nourish yourself in the right way during the holidays?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Have you had challenges with that in the past?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So are you excited about your business?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And are you feeling confident about the solution that you're providing for people?
Uh-uh.
Okay. So not yet confident about the solution.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No.
And is that because you're not sure who the solution is for exactly?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're wanting to be able to tune in to who is your right person?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, who your tribe is?
Uh-huh.
And have you heard of this distinction between looking at like your ideal client versus your tribe? Okay. So I'm just going to throw this in there for you because sometimes people get trained around, and I don't know what Darla's doing, but sometimes people get trained about picking one person. But then there's also kind of like the tribe of people. And they're not exactly the same. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So that's also just something for you to consider as we're going forward with this, right? And also just as you go forward in your business. Okay. So are you drawn to working with women who have a corporate background? And are you feeling, does it make you feel more confident to work with those women because it's a similar experience to what you have? Okay. Are you feeling locked in any way by wanting to work with women who are in corporate? Does that make you feel a little like squeezed somehow? Yeah. And so there's a kind of discomfort for with that. Okay. And so would it be right for you to work with just any woman who is working with her masculine energy? You popped up in your head. Okay, take a breath. Let's go back down in your body. Okay, good. Okay.
It came in as a and then the thought was working with a corporate woman that's in corporate or has been in corporate. That came up really quick.
Great. Okay, so that's a way that your sacral and your intuition can work together. Isn't that great?
So that's why when it popped up, I was like, oh, I got to think of how to answer that. But the thing came through.
Okay. So, all right. So let's go with that. So, would it be best for you to work with women who are, either are currently in corporate or have a corporate background? And is that because you feel that you understand them? Yeah. So your life experience is part of what's going to make you an expert to help these particular women. Yeah. And so if you were to work with a woman who, like, for example, was a mom, a full-time mom, and had been a full-time mom. Okay. What about a woman who has an entrepreneurial background?
Not completely.
Okay. Okay. Good. So you're getting some clarity here. Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. So then it sounds like it would, let me just ask it again and see what happens. So would it be right for you to work with just any woman who is stuck in her masculine energy? Okay. So for focusing your business, it would be best for you to focus on a woman who is either in corporate or has a corporate background. Would it be better to focus on a woman who's still in corporate?
I'm not getting a response.
Okay. Great. So would it be better for you to work with a woman who is no longer in corporate but has a corporate background?
I'm not getting a response on either one of those.
Okay. So either a woman who has a corporate background or is currently in corporate would be right for you.
Super strong.
Okay, great. So you see how you're just sorting it out and breaking things up and saying, okay, is it this? Is it that? How does it work? Right? How does it feel? Right? Do you feel like you're getting clarity here? And how does this clarity, does the clarity feel good to you? Does it feel right on? Do you have any resistance to focusing in this way? Okay. So did you have resistance in the past?
Well, that was what I was going to say is in the past, when I was trying to figure it out, I felt frustrated and tight and versus this, it's like, oh, this is easy and free and comfortable.
Yeah, you seem very clear at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it the right time for you to make a firm decision that this is the type of woman that you want to work with? Do you feel confident about moving forward with this focus now? Awesome. Okay. I think we're done.
Uh-huh.
Anything else related to that you're concerned about?
I think the only other piece that was coming in then would be the avenues that I would serve them. Um, I have several different avenues, and I keep getting the tinge on speaking gigs and getting in front of people.
Okay. So would it be right for you to reach these women through speaking?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Will you be able to find them that way is through
Uh-huh.
speaking? So, and are you going to feel confident in your ability to communicate through
Uh-huh.
speaking? Okay. I think you got a pretty strong yes there.
Nice.
All right, Wendy, good job.
I love the uh-huh.
Okay, good. Yeah, so use that. Use it if as long as it's not doesn't if, as long as your body isn't trying to give you a different sound, then use that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so much better than the yes no because it totally went into the sound. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Wendy. Hello. Hi, Anastasia. Great. I'm glad this worked out today.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So you kind of see how we're rolling, right?
Yeah.
So how is it for you as of right now feeling your sacral?
I still have that question. Like I understand the part of it intellectually, and I do that. I make those sounds, but I still am searching for where it's located somatically, like belly, yoni, sacrum. Like I'm still trying to like search out like where is it arising from, and some sort of somatic connection or tie.
Well, so here's the thing. If you're getting responses readily that you feel are not coming from your head to questions, then that's all you really need. Because when I hear you say I'm searching out where it is, that sounds very mental, even though you're asking for a somatic experience. It's coming from this mind desire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't actually feel it coming out of my sacral. You know, the thing is I'm very embodied. And so I just get it out of my body. It's not like I feel it coming from my sacral. The reason I encourage people to do that is most people are not as embodied as I am, and they're more in their head. So if you're in your body and, you know, you can get the responses. And sometimes when things are really strong, I get a full body response. It's not just a sacral thing.
Okay. That's
Does that
helpful.
make
Helpful because I do a lot of embodiment practices too. And so I definitely feel a somatic thing, but I've done also a lot of really detailed somatic work, like going into tiny little areas of my body. And so that's where I was.
Yeah.
So I like that idea of it. It can be, you know, full body because
I
can get.
Yeah, I think that the main thing, especially if you are really embodied and you've got these practices, you are in touch with your body wisdom. And so, and do you have a defined spleen? I'm not looking at your chart. No. Okay. Sometimes people, like I have a defined spleen, and sometimes I think actually even on the printout of my chart, it says that my authority is splenic awareness, because that's intuition, right? Because I have the 57. And so it's like, you know, is it my intuition? Is it my sacral? Like, is it my spleen? I don't know. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm getting clear responses and I feel like it's coming from a really embodied place. And I'm also aware that I experience my intuition differently than my sacral response because I have a lot of knowing. So I experience that a little bit differently. And that can be more verbal. So anyway, there's all these kind of different nuances, but, and I think I would say if you want to play around with exploring where you feel it in your body, great, but don't let it hang you up. Okay. It's like a thing that you have to feel or you have to develop, because that's just putting a boulder in your way.
That's good. No, that's helpful. That's a good instruction.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is one of the reasons it's great to do these too, is that we're getting to kind of sort out what's going on for people. So I'm happy to do that. So tell me, what topic do you want to talk about today?
So, right. one of the key reasons I took the course is that I have a hard time getting my message out there about what I do. And connected to that, and I'm sure deeply connected to that, is this issue of becoming visible. There is a strong conditioning in me to not be visible, to not stand out, to not be the tall poppy, to not put myself out there as an expert, even though I have a gajillion hours studying and doing the things that I do. That is really uncomfortable for me to be out there in that way. And then the other piece is that there's these different areas that I work in: Ayurveda, Jyotish, the Vedic astrology, dance meditation, which is this embodied movement practice. And then also in there is like some tarot and some Reiki. And I'm trying to write a book. I've got a lot of words on paper for Ayurveda for busy people. And so it's hard for me to figure out, like, where should I focus? And also, do I need to focus as a manifesting generator? I like the liberation that has given me, in the sense of I don't necessarily need to just pick one. I like that feeling. But then I also feel like, instead of putting myself out there as an Ayurvedic practitioner or as a Jyotishi, or these specific titles that some people may know and some people may not know, what I'd rather do is kind of move into this area of, just tell me what you need to work on, and I'll use all these different things to like give you my best information, and kind of go into this thing of maybe being a destiny or wellness mentor.
Yeah.
So I'm still like, there's a constellation of a lot of things there, and trying to figure out how to navigate.
Yeah.
What's going to bear fruit.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so I just want to say, we're going to address some of that in the later on in the course. And I think doing some of the soul signature work that I have would be really beneficial for you, because it's when it comes to working with somebody like yourself, it's really about being able to elevate yourself to become an expert in your own field that you get to define. And so there's the process is about defining what that field is, and then how you position yourself as the go-to expert in that field. And it can be something like working with people on destiny, or but you want it to come authentically out of your soul signature, and your human design is a component of that. But anyway, so that's a bigger piece, but I just want you to know we're gonna dive into a little bit of that in the course. But you can also, if you want to start working on that, you can go to yoursoulsignature.com and just opt in for a template that I have. And you can start working on that template. And it'll help you with that very topic to start working through that to some degree. So I just want to say that, so that you know that you can have that available to you. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. And I'm just gonna put on my timer here. All right, so so do you like chocolate?
I do.
And are you looking forward to the holidays?
Kind of ambivalent. It's not a big deal for me.
Okay, so we want to be Okay. Right. So that's the point here, is we want to be getting out of the nonverbal and down in the body. Okay. And so connecting with that is key here. Okay. So so you're feeling ambivalent about the holidays? Are you going to give yourself any time to rest over the holidays? Yeah. It can be a good time for that, just to take a break and take some time out. Do you have any particular plans for the holidays? Okay. Are you excited about those plans? Yeah. And so are you in a white room right now?
It's one wall is green and the other walls are white.
Well, I can only see a white. I can only see white walls.
I couldn't do the I'm looking at the green and the white.
Okay, great. And do you like all of the different things that you do? All the different, yeah. And so you really like doing all of them. Mm-hmm. And you want to keep doing all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And would it be right for you to only choose one to promote yourself around?
Mm-mm.
No. So that's not feeling like the right way to go.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Okay. And so would it be right for you to be creative with a different way that you could promote yourself other than your modalities?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so are you willing to believe that there is a way that you could do that that would feel authentic to you? Mm-hmm. And willing to explore and play around a little bit to see what might come out of that desire?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And are you interested in trying out some of that soul signature work to see if it helps?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a fear about getting to be known?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And is that fear based in your own life experience?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're a little in your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's my life experience, and I feel a strong past life
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask the questions.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I hear you. So you have some of this life experience and some past life. So you feel like you came in with some imprinting around fear of visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And have you already done some work to help clear some of the trauma you may have had from past lives?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is it easier now than it used to be for you to be visible?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's still pretty strong for you, the fear around that. Okay. And is that fear, is there actually any real world reason right now for you to hold on to that fear? Just totally went in your head.
Uh-huh. But I also had a real body sensation of, oh, that's a big question. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask it another way. So right now, is there any danger in the room you're in right now?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Are you in danger in the town that you're living in right now?
Mm-mm.
Do you feel fairly safe in the town that you're living in?
Again, it's a little
Okay. Do you feel like you would know how to keep yourself safe in the town that you're in?
Mm-hmm.
So even if there might be things that are a little bit sketchy in places or at times, you feel like you have a pretty good read on how to keep yourself safe in town. Okay. And are you willing to practice keeping yourself safe in the town that you live in? Doing whatever it is that you know you need to do in order to do that. So whether that's avoiding certain areas of town or avoiding being out at certain times of day or whatever it might be. Yeah. Okay. So do you trust yourself to keep yourself safe? Have you done any work around connecting with the part of you that's afraid?
I went into my head there. It's done a little work, but it's not enough.
Okay. Okay. So, but you have done some, right? Okay. So you have done some. Okay. Okay. So good. So you have done some work around working with the part of you that's afraid. Okay. Are you willing to do more work to help that part of you that's afraid feel more secure? Okay. And have you ever done work where you create a safe place inside?
I guess not.
Okay. So that's one thing that you might look into is how do you create a safe place, a sanctuary inside where that part that is afraid can live. Okay. So she can feel safe in there. Okay. That's just, and that there's a body of work around that. And I do that kind of work with people. So if you and I do any more work together, that's something I can help you with. But that's just a suggestion. How does that feel when I even say that? Does that feel like something that might be beneficial for you? Okay, great. And do you think that you will, is there a part of you that feels that she's going to be killed if she becomes well known? Okay. And so is the fear, let me put it this way. Is it right for you to let go of the fear of visibility?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is now the lifetime in which it is right for you to let go of the fear. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even if it was appropriate at other times to be hidden, is now the right time to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And would 2020 be the right time for you to really be bringing yourself out more into the world?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are you willing to do whatever you need to connect with yourself in order to feel more comfortable being visible?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And are you willing to bring in the resources that you might need in order to make that transition?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's working with someone or reading something or taking a course or whatever it might be, just some type of support to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And do you need outside support in order to be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that's my timer. So it would be easier for you to do that work with the support of someone or something outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So, and are you going to feel better when you've been able to let go of this fear of visibility?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to feel more relaxed?
Mm-hmm.
Is your business going to become more successful?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to make more money?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to help more people?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are there many reasons why it would be worth it for you to let go of that fear of visibility?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And even as you do that, are you going to be able to keep yourself safe?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. So during that process, I just wanted to reflect that I was trying to stay in the body and just let it do the
Mm-hmm.
But to a lot of those questions, my mind was saying no, and and coming up with reasons why that's not a good idea, or I don't have time for that now, or like I could still, like, my mind was coming up with a lot of no's and things like that. But I was trying to stay
Mm-hmm.
here and
Mm-hmm.
let it go.
Exactly. See, and that's great, actually, that you had that experience, because now you get to see the way that you are, the habit of mind is actually in conflict with the wisdom of your body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what we're wanting to do here is help you get in touch with that wisdom of your body and realize that your mind, and I'm going to have to go in a minute because I have a call, but is that it's not even your inner intelligence that's giving you the no, it's your inner saboteur who
Mm-hmm.
masquerades as logic and reason in order to try to keep you safe, but usually by keeping you really small and quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just know that that's actually a survival archetype that is trying to keep you alive, right? But it's based on an old program and an old worldview, which doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So your task then is to update that and to be able to have more command of your consciousness so that that voice does not play on center stage.
Right.
Yeah. Good work.
Mm.
How's it feel?
Good. Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah.
But like, I signed up for some things that my mind isn't so on board with, but it's interesting. But,
Yeah. Well, and then you get to see, because our minds, they have all kinds of opinions.
yeah.
But the more that you pull your energy out of that voice, right? It may keep talking, but it gains energy by you giving it attention. So when you pull the energy out of it and stop giving it attention, it'll quiet down. It doesn't mean it'll go away. Over time, it can go away, smaller and smaller and smaller. But it's when we give it attention and when we allow it to take over our perspective, then it's and then if we believe that it's rational and we believe that it's the right thing, right, then we're really in trouble. Because it's that thing about how the mind makes, a wonderful servant and a terrible master. Just remember that.
Yeah.
And your sacral is your connection with your divine, understanding. So
aligned with work that's purposeful in community.
okay. 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 And is there anything specific about that you want to bring up, or just as a general topic?
Yeah, this whole, I'm so used to feeling that I'm the initiator, so I should be choosing something and offering or whatever, and figuring out how to make the change. And now, as I'm embracing human design and understanding my design, it seems that there's a different approach, which is more energetically putting it out there and somehow letting it come to me. So it's this kind of double quandary of not being clear about what to put out there energetically and even how to put it out there energetically.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And part of that is what the course is all about.
Yeah.
And what our coaching is about is learning how to do
Yes.
that. So you're in the process of getting it, but I totally hear what you're saying.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, all right. So, do you love the ocean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And do you love swimming in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
And walking by the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Are you glad that you live only 15 minutes from the beach?
Mm-hmm.
And are you making going to the beach more of a priority for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be good if you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does being at the ocean, does that just help you de-stress?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you like cooking?
Mm-hmm.
You like food?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And are you enjoying being a private chef? Okay. And is that because you don't like the particular people you're working with? It's because you don't want to do private chef work? Okay. Yeah. Is it some of both? Not okay. Are you excited about what can happen with your business? And have you found the right community for you to connect with where you live now? And are you willing to be patient until you find the right community? And is it possible for you to be exploring more than you are right now what the possible communities around you are? Could you be just going out and going to events and trying to find out what's possible? You don't like the idea of going to events? Mixed?
It's the time.
Okay, but that's not the same thing. Okay. So if time were not a consideration, would going to events to explore communities feel like something good to do? Okay, so right now you feel pressure around the amount of time you have to be going out and exploring. Okay, so is it possible that there's another way to explore the communities that wouldn't take as much time, even if you don't know what it is? Is that possible? Okay. And do you know what it is right now?
Speaking in response, the conflict isn't just the amount of time, it's when the time is. Like working evenings and weekends just creates this big challenge.
Okay, so you're in your head about that?
Yeah.
And you're pretty committed to that thought? It's okay. It's okay. So again, this is all learning, right? This is all just learning about so that you can feel that. Like because what happened was you kind of got up in your head about the timepiece, and then you couldn't actually hear the questions that I was asking you that weren't actually about time at all. Does that make sense?
It does.
They went, like when I asked you about going to events, it wasn't about time at all. Or when I said, could there be another way that even if you don't know what it is, it's not about time. Okay. Yeah. So do you see, and I'm hoping everybody, who's here live and who's watching later is to see how the things that we get hooked on, it's like a hook, like the not having enough time is a thought form that you have that's running in your mind a lot right now.
Yes.
So when certain things come up, you pop into that, and then that's what takes over. Yeah. Right. And so part of what we're doing in getting into the sacral response is that we're aiming to find a different type of wisdom that can get outside of that thought form that's running. Yeah. And we all have them, about different things. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't live in the right place. I'm not the right person. I mean, whatever it is, right? So what's great about this is you getting to see, oh, wow, I'm really kind of obsessing about time right now. And that's limiting my ability to be in possibility thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Because your mind is trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. And so what we're trying to do, what our aim to do here is to move into a different place of wisdom and an awareness in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's good. It's good that it came up so that you could really get a sense of that. And is the new work that you're going to be doing going to involve cooking? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it'll involve food. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Will it involve getting closer to nature? Mm-hmm. Will it involve working in a corporation? Mm-hmm. Good. Could you feel that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to override it.
That could be possible, right? But are some of the people that are going to be great resources for you actually in the town that you live in? Even if you don't know who they are? Okay. So you may not have enough information, or it may not be the right time. Yeah. Okay. Is it right for you to try to initiate creating a new business right now? Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it right for you to be exploring possibilities at this time? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it right for you to be generating different scenarios about what could be possible? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you do that without feeling attached to them? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to give yourself the freedom to play with your imagination and possibilities without feeling the pressure to commit right away? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to be patient and allow things to unfold in divine timing? Mm-hmm. Is it hard for you to be patient? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is that a skill that you're open to developing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have there been times in the past when you've been patient and you saw how it paid off? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you willing to tune into that experience to remind you when you get impatient? Mm-hmm. Remind yourself that there are benefits to mm-hmm. being patient. Mm-hmm. And have you used your willpower at times to make things happen? Mm-hmm. When you didn't have the energy for it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And did you get tired doing that? Mm-hmm. Were the results less or different than what you wanted? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would it be right now for you to use your willpower to create something? Mm-mm. Is this exploration benefiting you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is now the right time for you to be even exploring this question about communities you could connect with? Mm-mm. So is it in 2020? Will mm-hmm. the time come in 2020? Mm-hmm. You can let that piece go right now about what the specific communities are. Mm-hmm. And so would it be more right for you to just be playing with possibilities at this point? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And because would it be that if you were focusing on communities, would that shut down some of your creativity possibly? Mm-mm. No. Okay. So it's not about that limiting what you might be thinking. Mm-mm. It's not about that. Okay. Good to know. All right, dear. That's our timer.
Thank you. Thank you, Maggie.
Was that helpful?
Well, especially that, yes. And wow, I mean, I've understood intellectually about that way I get hooked in my mind, but I experienced it and felt it in a way that is very fabulous.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And that's the point, right? And so that when you know, other things are coming up, you can come back to that and go, oh yeah, I remember that. It's like, how do I get out of my head, right?
Yeah, I'm
And
doing
get
it
down in my
right.
body.
Yeah, that's what
Perfect.
I've been doing right now. So
Yeah.
yes,
All right. Thank you, dear. You did great.
thank
Right.
you.
Okay.
It's so great watching others. This is so helpful. Thank you for this offering.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So has your knee been bothering you for a long time?
Yes.
And is it frustrating for you?
Yeah.
And would you really like your knee to feel better? Would really like to find what needs to occur in order for your knee to feel better. And have you tried a lot of things? Yeah, for a long time now. Yeah. And are you afraid about what's going on with your knee? Yeah. And did you just get a diagnosis? Yeah. And is that indicating that you would need surgery?
It's not. Yeah.
That's what the diagnosis is indicating.
Yeah.
Okay. And would it be right for you to have surgery? Yeah. Yeah. And that's upsetting for you? Yeah. Yeah. And is your knee going to get better if you have the surgery? Yeah. So even if it's upsetting, and even if you did not want to have another knee surgery, in the right time, would it be right for you to move forward with it? And is now the right time? So will sometime in 2020 be the right time? Is there something that you would be beneficial for you to prepare in order to be ready? Some ways for you to prepare, for you to get ready. Okay. And would some of those ways be emotional? Being emotionally prepared. And would some of those ways be physical? Are there some physical things that you need to do to be prepared? Yeah. And being more prepared, is it likely that the surgery will be more successful? And being more prepared, will the recovery be faster? And have you actually had a successful knee surgery in the past?
Yes.
So you've had one before on the other knee. Right? So knowing that you have actually done this successfully in the past, is it possible for you to open up to that this could be beneficial for you? Even if it pisses you off. Yeah. And are you angry about it?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you beating up on yourself about it?
Yes.
Do you feel like you did something wrong to bring this on? You must have done something wrong. Yeah. Is it possible that you did not do anything wrong?
Yes.
So is it possible that part of the preparation for you is to let go the self-blame that you have right now?
Yeah.
And are you willing to take the time that it needs in order to create a shift inside of you around your self concept around your knee?
That's interesting because I got an and I know it should be a yes.
Okay, so you got an so is now the right time to do that work around shifting the way you're seeing yourself about your knee? Is now the right time for that? Okay. All right. So Are you afraid of what might happen doing that?
Am I afraid? I'm sorry.
If you do work in order to shift the way you're feeling about yourself in relation to your knee, are you afraid of that, doing that work?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Are you feeling resistant to it?
Uh-huh.
And are you is there a benefit that you're getting out of beating yourself up about this?
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Right.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh. And why isn't this? Sorry. Okay.
Oh.
Is that, did you just get it?
Getting, yeah, it's fucked up. Sorry, it's being recorded.
It's okay.
It's something about an excuse, like the need, like by being in this place, I have an excuse not to move forward on all these other areas. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And by not taking action, I sort of let myself stay.
Thank you. Okay, take a breath right into that one. Great awareness, Susan. Really good. Yeah. Is that painful to realize that you have an investment in that? Yeah. Are you the only person who has investments in things like that?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
Are you willing to be gentle around yourself as you allow this awareness to come more up into your consciousness?
Uh-huh.
Even if now is not the right time, are you willing to forgive yourself for having had this investment at some point when you're ready? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think we found one of the things that you need to get ready about.
Yes. Wow.
Good work.
That's awesome. Wow. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And so is now the right time for you to be making decisions about your decision, your direction moving forward? Yeah. Is now the right time for you to be really taking care of your health?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is now the right time for you to be working with this subconscious attachment that you've had to being somewhat immobile so that you don't have to move forward?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And will sometime in 2020 be the right time for you to be revisiting this question about what you're going to move forward with, whether it's getting a job or creating your coaching practice? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And is it possible that in the meantime you could still have coaching clients?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And is it possible that you could have more coaching clients than you have right now?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And would that feel good to you to have a few more coaching clients? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And can you have the coaching clients while you're also healing your knee, doing whatever you need to heal your knee?
Uh-huh.
And would that help you feel better about this pressure about money and about where your career is going to go for the meantime?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. For the short term.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good work. Yeah. Well, Susan, it's actually, this was an incredible example of how one can use this gift that you have of your sacral, right? And what can happen with that, and working, and for everybody, like working with somebody, like me, or somebody who knows how to ask questions, right? So that we can bring things to the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that you mentioned it, because if we'd been sitting here trying to ask you questions about what direction you were going to go, it might have been really confusing, because that wasn't the real issue. Or it wasn't the thing that was most important for you to be focusing right now. And I might have gotten to that if it had been murky. I might have been like, it's not the right time for us to be looking at this. Yeah. All right. Thank you, dear.
Perfect timing, because I literally got the diagnosis 15 minutes ago. So like,
oh, good. Let's just take care of it.
Right.
All right, dear. I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'm just going to make a couple closing remarks before I end the meeting. All right. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay. So in conclusion, for this sacral session that we had today, I want to thank all of our participants for their willingness to show up and be vulnerable, and to take the time to really be looking at how they can get in touch with their authority. And I think we had a really nice range of responses that people had. And so I want to encourage you that to really take the time to learn how to connect with your sacral, because particularly, as you could see with Susan, what the value of that was, not only did she get answers to the questions, but it was able, the sacral was able to connect into her subconscious, and bring forth an awareness that she really needed to have, and that she's ready to receive, even though it's a painful one. And that's going to really help her move forward. And then with Elizabeth, we were able to see how that thought form of time has been in the way for her. What I want to emphasize in closing here is that yes, this is about decision making, and yes, it's about being able to get that kind of divine guidance from your sacral, which is your interface with your higher self. But it is also a way for you to be able to identify some of the things that are holding you back, some of the ways that our minds take over. We're used to having our minds in control. And being able to make those distinctions. And it may be that initially the mind is still going to be coming in, but the more that you can actually feel that and be working to get down into the belly, then the easier it's going to be. Okay, thanks everyone. Signing off for now.